been a while since I last played this, so I might not remember everything.
¿Sabes por qué? Porque you're gonna read aloud, ¿sabes?
Oh yeah.
So, I can't. Bueno, ahorita vengo por mi hierro, ¿ok?
Okay. The 23rd of October, 8:52 a.m., the Old Bailey, defendant's antechamber. I can't believe it's been 6 months since I was last allowed to work in court. And now here I am, back at the Old Bailey. Ah, Mr. Naruhodo. Good morning, Professor Hairbrain. I don't understand. Forgot to do this right before beginning. I know it doesn't matter, but still, it's worthwhile. I know nobody cares. I'm just setting up a message on my stream for anybody coming in. I don't understand. It doesn't make any sense. The atmospheric pressure here is off the charts. I never felt anything like it. It's crushing me. I feel it every time I'm here. That gravity. Well, this is Britain's highest court. But are you telling me it's fitted with some kind of device that can actually control air pressure? I think it's probably all in the mind. Ah, yes, well, you won't let me down, will you, Mr. Naruhodo? I'm counting on you to this trial to save my life. To save the secret of my super high voltage instantaneous kinetic machine from being made public. Yes, I understand. I know what I have to do. Okay, before continuing, it might be better for me to actually read what I found the last time I played, because it's been a while. A newspaper containing various articles about the world-leading science and technology on show at the Great Exhibition being held in London. Give me a second, because my headphones are half broken, so I can't set them up properly on my head. Actually, I should probably look at the audio. It seems to be fine, I think. I should just speak up a bit. Okay, eyes on the world are on the Crystal Tower. Yes, I now understand why I have a problem. Okay. The Great Exhibition of All Nations. First test of matter transportation device. 10 pages, 1 penny. The Reaper attacked. Ruffians aim to intimidate man of justice. Lured man seeks and compatriot cornered. Lost cat. Please contact if you have my information. That's funny. I don't think I read that last time. I wonder if that's readable in the 3DS version. Whoa. A diagram showing the relative positions of the Crystal Tower and Professor Hairbrain's machine that exploded. I can't find anything out of place. Awesome. Why can I look at this then? It looks like layers of thick canvas with a thick rubber lining of sorts. I've never seen anything like it before. Oh. Follow for follow. Sure. I don't know actually. I don't think... I don't know, it feels scummy. I'm sorry. If you want, you can remove the follow. I'm sorry. By applying Mr. Sholm's methods, you might deduce it was part of a raincoat worn by someone who really didn't want to get wet. And the charring must have occurred when the person was struck by lightning. Or maybe not. Oops, I should read what it says. Piece of canvas-like material backed with rubber that was found under the experimentation stage of the exhibition grounds. There are scorch marks at the edges. A very curious device found behind the tree under the experimentation stage at the exhibition grounds, almost as if it had been hidden there deliberately. Look at like a It's probably a crossbow, because that's exactly what it looks like. I think, yeah, if you press this, it pops out. Ah, there's some sort of lever here. Yep, it's a crossbow. What the? What is this? It looks like a cross between a bow and a gun. I think it's probably used for the same thing too. Oh, I hadn't checked it before. Well, skill solutions, I guess. You should crank this. It looks like you wind this around in order to draw the bowstring back and to create tension. You must be able to fire arrows with a huge amount of force using this device then. In fact, I would imagine it's far more accurate and powerful than a Japanese longbow. Ugh, I really had no idea what I was picking up when I spotted this at the exhibition grounds. Well, that's good to know, honestly. A weapon hidden between a tree and the experimentation stage. Pretty cool. I know what I have to do. I have to establish that the explosion 2 days ago was nothing more than an unfortunate accident. Well, I'm sure there's nothing to worry about, really. Justice will prevail. My commiserations, Mr. Naruhodo. You have to have been lumbered with a most tiresome case here. Yeah, of course, dumbass. Mr. Sholmes, I didn't expect to see you here. That was very mean, Naruno, leaving me alone at home with Hurley. It took me at least an hour to wake him. Is it... Are you... Herlock Sholmes? Indeed, sir. I am he. Here, Herlock Sholmes! I should probably look at the people, just in case that... I need to remember. This is the guy that... Odious man. Meth. And yeah, Esmeralda Tuspels. Cool. So it was the fucking exhibition of wax statues was on the investigation part. I forgot about that. Oh, I've heard all about your exploits, even whilst living in Germany. Ah yes, Rand's magazine is on sale in Germany too. This month's installment was sublime. Your reduction in the adventure of Silver Blaze was wonderful. Ah yes, a memorable case indeed. It concerned a snake, I seem to recall. No, that was a speckled band. Well, thank you for coming. I do appreciate your support. I'm sorry to disappoint you, my dear fellow, but I'm afraid I can't stay. Oh, I have urgent business as Madame Tuspels. You mean your waxwork job? No, the waxwork abduction, of course. Madame has engaged my services. Ah, so you're trying to get to the bottom of that ransom note, are you? The week's wages depend on it, as does the same return of the waxwork, naturally. As such, I intend to give my undivided attention. Oh, well, never mind then. I understand. Of course, with my skills of observation and reasoning, resolving the matter will be as easy as proverbial pie. I shall return forthwith. For until I solve the case, I shall have no money to afford a pie of any description. Oh, then you must absolutely give it your full attention, Hurley. Quite, Iris, quite. But life is riddled with irony, you know. Whenever I give something my full attention, I have a quite insatiable desire for a pie. One of the universe's intractable mysteries, you might say. Oh yes, quite, definitely, absolutely. I totally understand. Is someone a little starstruck? I wish you the very best of luck, Professor Hairbrain. Why thank you. Before I depart, Mr. Naruhodo, a word in your ear, if you please. What's this about? As you have remarkably little grounding in science, I feel I ought to inform you. As compelling as the super high voltage instantaneous kinesis hypothesis may be, a practical implementation, such as was attempted by the professor at the Great Exhibit, is quite impossible. But the professor said the demonstration was a success. Yes, it would appear that he fervently believes it was. I've read Professor Bunnybrain's paper about it too, Runo, and I have to say, I'm sure it can't be done. It could barely be done theoretically, let alone practically. So he's completely barking up the wrong tree? But how could an experiment that had no possibility of succeeding, in fact, succeeded? That's contradictory. And it's that contradiction that will be at the heart of the trial, I've no doubt. What's that supposed to mean? Now, I must hurry along. I wish you the best of luck, my dear fellow. See you later, Hurley. Stupid ass man. Well, it looks like you're on your own today, Bruno. But chin up. You can do it. Oh, what about you, Iris? Ah, no, I'm afraid I can't help. I have something I need to do. I see. It's going to be a big surprise for you when you find out what it is. Ah, that sounds ominous. Counsel for the defense and the defendant. Court is about to be in session. Make your way into the courtroom at once. We're on our way. An experiment that the laws of science say can't possibly succeed. And a scientist who's convinced that it did. That's the riddle you have to unlock here, Ryunosuke. That's the key to this case. Yeah, just more time passed, but now we're in the Old Bailey courtroom. Oh yeah, I have to see what these assholes look like now. In the name of Her Majesty the Queen, I hereby declare this court to be in session. We are sitting today for the public trial of Professor Albert Harebrain. I now call upon the counsel for the prosecution and defense to declare their willingness to proceed. The prosecution is ready. The defense is ready, my lord. I'm 6 months out of practice, and what's more... Aw. I'm without Susato-san today. Oh my god, el gran ace tornillo. Sí. Ugh. Is it just my imagination, or does the air in here feel even more oppressive than usual? So, I must say I recollect the victim of this case all too well, Mr. Odie Assman. Assman, no, Odious Man. Mr. Assman. I don't know how to say that without saying Assman. Mr. Assman. Si ocupas evadir spoilers, está bien. Mr. Ass. How do I say it? Oh, it's odious, man. This man. Mr. Sman was well known as a financier, though that was merely a front for his diverse criminal activities. It was only a month ago that a man appeared in court prosecuted by you, Lord Manseeks. But the jury unanimously found him not guilty, because every member of the jury had been bribed by the sound of it. These powerful London criminals are prepared to go to extreme lengths to keep their freedom. But 2 days ago, on the 21st of October, Mr. Sman met his end. The work of the Reaper, was it? If that is how your lordship would describe divine retribution. But the fact remains that Mr. Sman's death was a direct result of the actions of the accused, Professor Harebrain. Very well then. Hello? Ah, hola Alex. No tienes que hablar en inglés si quieres, por eso está bilingüe. Now, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, you have been selected at random to represent the will of the people. Are the 6 of you ready to fulfill your societal duty? I'm most gratified to have been selected to carry out this important civic duty, my lord. To have a man's fate in the palm of one's hand. Oh gosh, oh golly, it sends shivers down my spine. Science experiments, magic, conjuring tricks, courtroom trials are all nothing more than performances. I can try, don't worry. Okay. I wish you the best, Alex. Any spurious scholar that defiles the reputation of science deserves to hang.
We have to listen one said on both sides, the fence, and then we sell on one. That's it, isn't it?
Wasn't like this in my day. Wasn't like this at all. I mean, I should try to be at least talk. I should be able to at least talk in English. Okay, okay. Alright, that's fine then. That's the police killer Automo lookalike again. What are you talking about? And he's as exhausted as ever, it seems. I don't remember this. Damn it. Now, as I'm sure you're all aware, The incident we are here to judge today tragically took place at the Great Exhibition shortly after its opening. Let me check the court record just to make sure that I don't know what the hell Phoenix Nodohodo was talking about. I have no clue. I don't remember. Damn it. This is what happens when you don't play the game for a while. Oh, wait, nah. I think I know exactly what he's talking about. Wait. Maybe he was in the first. Are you gonna play Splat today? I don't think so, because my friends hate me. No, that's a joke. But they do seem to be busy, and I don't really want to play unless like I have a full squad. Mostly because I want to save up my like need to play Splatoon for when the Splatfest starts, just so that I can keep playing and get to a good rank. Because I do want snails to see snails. And yeah, my friends have not said anything. Though the death toll could have been far worse. With the exception of the victim, no one was killed. Nevertheless, the dream of the science being exhibited rapidly turned into a nightmare for the spectators. Okay, no problem. Okay. A tragic turn of events. And as such, the eyes of all London, no, the world as a whole, will be on this trial. It is our duty to reach a swift and just conclusion, I feel. So, your opening statement, please, Lord Van Seeks. At the heart of this incident is technology never before demonstrated anywhere in the world. One of science's latest developments, I take it. The government is keen to capitalize on the Great Exhibition to improve Britain's technological advantage. The technology being demonstrated by the accused was described as super high voltage instantaneous kinesis. Kinesis? I don't know. Good lord. It's designed to disassemble human subjects using extremely high voltage electricity and beam them instantly to another location where they are subsequently reassembled. Is such a thing even within the realms of possibility? Well, I don't believe it. That's for sure. Disassembling people with electricity? My goodness, how shocking. Ha! The whole idea is absurd. The hypothesis would never stand up to scrutiny. Sir, I believe you are a fellow of the Royal Society, are you not? An expert in your field? I am, and my word on the matter can be considered final. Instantaneous kinesis is poppycock. So this expert and Mr. Jones are in agreement. It's impossible. What is the prosecution's view on the matter? The prosecution would assert that the accused instantaneous kinesis demonstration was a success. What? What? Rot? Order! The prosecution's hypothesis is currently under investigation by the British government. The professor's investigation. If it is deemed to have merit, a substantial research grant would be made available. The accused made use of the invention built on his new hypothesis to take Mr. S-man's life in order to be of the sole benefactor of the grant. But this disastrous demonstration was no accident. It was carefully designed from the outset to end the life of the victim. Okay, so what he's saying is, like, it wasn't an accident, it was a planned out murder. That's raising up the stakes already. Thank you, Lord Van Seeks, the prosecution's stance is clear. But you will now bring forth witnesses to substantiate their claims. Gladly, my lord. So extra. Bailiff, show the first witnesses to the stand. Witnesses, state your names and occupations for the court. Yes, sir. Tobias Gregson, Detective Inspector at Scotland Yard's Homicide Division. I was on duty at the demonstration of the day in the question and in charge of the following investigation. Albert Harebrain is a scientist. You were born in England, but have been carrying out research in Germany in recent years, correct? Yes, that's right. After graduating from university here in Britain, I don't know how to say it. I went to work in Germany and made an amazing discovery, which is what brought me back. I had to demonstrate my incredible hypothesis at the Great Exhibition. What you demonstrated was incredible, alright? An incredible explosion. But the science was a success. The instantaneous kinesis worked. Everyone saw it. They must have done. Yes, there was a terrible accident, but the demonstration of my hypothesis was a success. Well, that much is undeniable, as shown in this photograph taken by the forensic investigation team. This was taken inside the Crystal Tower, I take it, the centerpiece of the exhibition, no less. That's right, my lord. Seems the victim ran straight into it. I see. Very well. Submit the photograph as evidence. As the courts heard, the victim of the incident was Mr. Odious Man. I should look at this pic before I continue. Wow, look, he got a shot here. What a shocker. I wonder what did it. I wonder if it's this crossbow. Whoa, he has a glass? Okay, whatever. There have been a number of allegations made against the man, but putting them aside for the time being, he was the man who financed the research for the experiment and the demonstration itself. I see, so to summarize the situation, the defendant is accused of taking the life of the man who funded his work. Would that be correct? Exactly. But couldn't it be that the explosion was caused by some malfunction in the apparatus used for the demonstration? That's right, that must be it. My splendid machine. My poor splendid machine. You saw it yesterday, didn't you? We can't even examine the wreckage thanks to the Special Dispensation for Scientific Equipment Act. What? The wreckage? The wreckage? But that being the case, how can the facts be established? How can it possibly be determined whether this was an accident or a deliberate and malicious act? Extremely simply, my lord. I beg your pardon? Isn't that right, witness? What? Sorry, me? No, your neighbor. Yes, sir, it was murder, plain and simple. Anyone can state that with a complete certainty. What? How can he possibly think that? Thank you, Inspector. I think we had better proceed to formal testimony. You will explain to the court on what grounds you claim this experiment to have been a front for murder. Witness testimony. Affront for murder. The corpse that went crashing through the Crystal Tower had a broken neck. I made a minor miscalculation in the angle of the beam projection, that's all. That was my mistake. But the post-mortem examination revealed another injury, a fatal wound. There was a lesion in his chest where he'd been clearly stabbed by something sharp right next to the heart. So the victim was killed before he went anywhere, and this fella's the only one who could have done it. An extraordinary business. In addition to suffering a broken neck, the victim was stabbed in the heart. Information I would really like to have heard from someone other than the judge. The coroner says death would have been all but instant from a wound like that. You could say, in fact, that the victim was killed twice by the accused. No! That couldn't be further from the truth. I have here the experiment plan document that was submitted to the security team. The victim stood himself inside something called the bird cage, ready to be beamed instantly. What the fuck? There's more text here than Genshin Impact. My brother in Christ, this is a visual novel. Of course there's gonna be text. Novel is in the title. This is an investigation game. To the second level of the Crystal Tower, about 25 yards away. The experiment did not go according to plan, however. Ah, it's a visual novel. As the machine was put into operation, there was a large explosion. The blast caused by the beam transmitter to point higher than intended. Accordingly, the kinesis resulted in the birdcage materializing in midair, from where it subsequently fell, crashing through the glass of the Crystal Tower large round window. I thought it was an RPG. My word, one assumes the victim's neck was broken upon impact with the tower then. I'm so sorry, I didn't mean for this to happen. The machine was just too powerful. But honestly, really, I swear, it was just an accident, a terrible accident. Unfortunately, that excuse can't save you. No, not considering the sharp murder weapon that pierced the victim's heart. Murder weapon? What are you saying? This is the autopsy report submitted by the coroner. The prosecution would like it entered into the court record. Your request is granted, counsel. The autopsy report has been entered into the court record. The autopsy report of the victim, Mr. Assman. His neck was broken from the impact of a violent fall, and he was stabbed in the chest with a sharp object. I was there in person, you know. I saw the whole ludicrous performance. And the only other person on the stage with Mr. Assman was that disgraceful excuse for scientists. Then really, by all accounts, it must have been him. Hard to think otherwise, really. Very well, counsel for the defense, proceed with the cross-examination, please. Oh, yes, my lord. I need to focus here. It's been a while. Yeah, I agree. It has been close to 6 months for me too. Okay, so first, the corpse that went crashing through the Crystal Tower had a broken neck. Hold it. Are you suggesting that because he fell from a considerable height? My god, exactly, which highlights something else about this whole Rob business. What's that? The fact that the instantaneous kinesis itself was a success. Ah. After the explosion, the cage with the fella inside suddenly appeared out of nowhere in midair. So although the experiment had ended in disaster, the so-called instantaneous kinesis did actually occur. Remind us, Professor, what was the cause of the fatal disaster? I made a minor miscalculation in the angle of the beam projection, that's all. That was my mistake. So the angle of projection is critical, is it? And you calculated it yourself, personally? Absolutely, the calculation is far too complicated for anybody but me to carry out. Only you got it wrong, didn't you? Yes, that's right. That's the point. The calculation is so complicated, even I can make a mistake. Do people fall for that brazen confidence? I should try it. I took into account the subject's height and weight, the wind direction, the ambient temperature. I consider every possible variable, so I don't understand how this could have happened. Obviously, then, you had to include the weight of the clothes Mr. Assman was wearing at the time, I suppose. Ah. Crackling comets! The answer should have been 3! So much for safety first. The 3 must be for safety third. But the post-mortem examination revealed another injury, a fatal. Another fatal injury, you say? That doesn't make any sense. I didn't think I'd have to spell this out, but here we go. Just because there were 2 fatal wounds doesn't mean I'm saying the victim had 2 lives to lose, does it? Too right. Obviously, at first, we thought the bloke had died due to his spine snapping in half as well. But you're saying that's not the case? You'd get your answer once I finish my fish and chips if you don't keep butting in every few seconds. But we all know that's a bottomless bag. The victim plummeted 30 feet into a glass tower. It would be reasonable to assume that as the cause of death. Right. That's what we all thought. But it was a red herring, wasn't it? There was a lesion in his chest? Yeah, lesion in his chest, where he'd clearly been stabbed by something sharp right in his heart. The defense knew nothing of this crucial information. The prosecution received this report from the forensic investigation team only this morning. That was the first we knew of it as well. I can only apologize for the impossibility of informing the defense. Sarcastic and insincere? Thanks. So what's the nature of this sharp object? Among the accused tools that were in use at the demonstration, one is of particular interest. This. Ah, yes, that would appear to be some kind of screwdriver, wouldn't it? Also, ah ha ha ha! There he is! My trusted little companion, Andrew! Andrew, of course. Ah, do you know each other already? He's one of my dear friends, like all my tools. I've named them all, you know. We're one big happy family. Andrew's my flathead screwdriver, of course. His brother Michael is a crosshead. Well, it would appear that your beloved Andrew has a red stain on his shank. Ah, that isn't... It's blood, beyond all reasonable doubt. No, and that's not all. The long, sharp shape of this Andrew fellow is completely consistent with the victim's wound. What? What? Order, order. The court will enter this friend of the defendant as evidence. So one of Professor Hairbrain's tool is the murder weapon. Great. So the victim was killed before he went anywhere, and this fella is the only one who could have done it. What grounds do you have for saying that? Ha! Did you really need to ask? There were only 2 people on that public experimentation stage in front of the whole crowd. The victim, Mr. Odious Man, and the accused, Professor Hairbrain. And we know for certain that before the experiment, the victim was alive. That's right, I saw him with my own eyes. Furthermore, following the explosion and kinesis, nobody went anywhere near the body. In other words, only someone else on stage with the victim could possibly have done it. Give me a sec. In other words, only someone else on stage with the victim could have possibly done it. Excuse me! Professor Hairbrain, do you have some information that may be relevant? Relevant here. Professor! Ah, sorry! I was just calculating the optimum coefficient of electrolysis to separate molecules in the human body. And the witness stand is the best place for that. It seems as though you might have something to say about Inspector Gregson's last remark. Ah! Yes, that's right, of course. He just said that nobody else could have done it, didn't he? Yeah, that's right. Who else could have stabbed the victim, eh? I don't know, but there's no way that I could possibly have stabbed Mr. Assman, as you say. Huh? Explain, please, Professor. Of course, this cold-hearted policeman may not be aware, I suppose. But humans are warm-blooded mammals with blood running continuously through their veins. I had heard. Then surely you'd see, if I plunged something the size of Andrew into the man's chest, the whole stage would have been a blood bath. No, a blood swimming pool. Ah. But thousands of Londoners were watching me at the time. And yet not one of them claims to have seen a swimming pool of blood. Well, no, I suppose not. You see? Not one! True, I didn't see anything like that. Well done, Professor. That was a great counter-argument. He did it. Order. Pray forgive the discourtesy if I savor a drop from my hollowed chalice to accompany my old friend's abusing. I saw a movement in my fucking... I see what it was. Forget about it. Here's to you, Albert. Oh, you're too kind, Varric, but I'm really not a patch on you. Edo, es que tú parles francés. No, para nada. I do not speak French at all. I wish I could. My sister is the one that's good with more languages than me. No hablo francés, una disculpa. No, you're not. No? You've neglected to mention one crucial possibility. I have? A particular situation in which very little bleeding would result from a stab wound. Ah, of course. Inspector, enlighten the court, please. Yes, sir. Where are they going with this? Very well. You will amend your formal testimony now, Inspector Gregson. The weapon the victim was stabbed with must have been left in his body while he was beamed through the air. Do I have any evidence against that? Oops, whatever. Why would you think that, Inspector? With any wound, it's only when you pull the weapon out that profuse bleeding occurs. While it's still lodged in the body, it acts as a stopper of sorts, for want of a better word. I see. You don't need a medical degree to be aware of this fact. It's common knowledge for any investigator. Ugh, where's Sasato-san when you need her? If you ask me, this bloke masked what he was doing from view with his body before stabbing Assman in the chest. Then he beamed the victim off stage with his fancy device. The screwdriver was still where he planted it. I would never do such a thing. Not to my precious tools. I would never use them for such dirty work. I'm having dinner right now. Now, are you gonna play another game afterwards? Probably not. Like, well, maybe Splatoon, but it has to do. If my friends come, then Splatoon. If my friends do not come at all, then no, not at all. You only use tools for their intended purpose. That's common knowledge for any scientist. The fact remains the lack of blood at the scene can be easily explained, as the prosecution has demonstrated. And I don't count as one? No, you do, but like I want to have a bigger group friend. Well, it's more like I want to play with Becerra, so I don't want to like start playing now and then get tired when Becerra comes. But like Becerra never comes, you know? That's how he is. So that's all the testimony I have to work with. I had no idea the victim had been stabbed. That changes everything. Did Van Zee keep that to himself up till now on purpose to gain the advantage? Oh well, I suppose all I can do is press these witnesses for as much new information as possible. Bum 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 bum. Bum 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 bum. Yeah, you want to play at least with 3, no? Yeah. I've seen this unusually shaped handle before. It's the same screwdriver that was lodged in the grill on the floor of the Kness machine, which could be important information, so I should definitely make a note of it. This is blood. Mr. Assman's no doubt. This is the problem with looking at murder weapons. Bum 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 bum. Edo, where did you learn English? At school? You're really good at talking. Oh, thank you. I guess I learned it by just basically there's this thing in psychology where, well, basically when you're younger, you can learn multiple languages. That's how we as humans learn to talk. You know how your mom was spoke with you as you were when you're young so that you would speak more? Babies learn language by hearing. So when I was really young, my mom would put basically TV had a lot of English TV. And then the internet came along, and then I consumed a lot of internet. So I quickly learned English. And then that backed up with the little bit that we studied on school helped me get really good at it. so sadly I cannot like tell you, oh yes, I learned it in this school, go to this school. Yeah, I knew it was not gonna be useful, so that's why I didn't read it out loud. I'm just trying to check if I already have everything that I need, because I'm not sure. A photograph print of the victim taken after he had been ostensibly been beamed. Maybe that's it. I have been trying to learn English to pass an exam of Cambridge for a certain certificate, but I don't know if I have passed or not. Well, good luck. I hope you're the best. Like, I know those types of exams can be, like, stressful. I hope you have gotten through it. No! Surely something about that last statement seems odd, doesn't it? Would you care to mull over precisely what you found out about it on your return journey to Japan? Fuck you. I did present this, right? Yeah. I have already done the exam. I'm waiting for the mark. Okay. Good luck then. I hope it goes well. Or maybe? Okay. You say that while the weapon remains in the body, there's very little bleeding. Is that unequivocal? Look, there was no blood in the experimentation stage, even though that's where the fellow was stabbed. The only explanation for that is that if its screwdriver was still in his body, stopping any heavy bleeding. It's common medical knowledge, my learned friend, even on your side of the world. Yes, but about this screwdriver. The thing is, we actually saw it at the scene ourselves, on the experimentation stage. What? It was on the floor by the wreckage of the machine, poking through a metal grill. I went to pick it up, but the detective here stopped me. Isn't that right, Inspector Gregson? Ah, well, now you come to mention it, yes. Inspector, are we to understand that you permitted the defense counsel to investigate? That you contravened the Special Dispensation for Scientific Equipment Act? No, not at all. I wouldn't do that. I just let him look, nothing more. I was very clear he wasn't to touch a thing. Yes, that's true. This screwdriver was in plain sight, on the stage. But it shouldn't have been, should it? What are you getting at? If this tool had still been in the victim's body when the victim was beamed away by the machine, then it shouldn't have been still on the stage. Ah. That's right. It should have been beamed across the Crystal Tower along with Mr. Assman. And been found still lodged in the victim's chest. Ugh. Wow. Order. How do you explain this, Inspector? I don't. It looks as though everything that the victim had on his person moved with him when he was beamed. If the screwdriver was still in his chest when the instantaneous kinesis occurred, obviously that should have been beamed to the destination as well. This is a strange situation. Even though people are saying that this instantaneous kinesis is a scientific impossibility, we're still basing arguments on the assumption that it did actually take place. Alright, time to tighten the screws here. My lord, if the prosecution is unable to explain this inconsistency in its arguments, we can only conclude that the testimony given in support cannot be relied upon. Lord Van Seeks is stumped. Hello, Edo. I just came to say hello because I already have to go. Bye. Take care. Okay, bye. Thank you for coming. See you later. You have something to say, witness.
Yes, I knew it. It bears out. The equation hold.
Mr. Naruhodo, don't worry.
About what?
Without delving into the details, there is no inconsistency.
What?
Even if Andrew had been lodged in Mr. Sassman's chest,
My trusty tool wouldn't have moved.
Andrew's remained on the stage is consistent with my calculations.
What?
Fucking idiot. Yeah, I would do that too. It would seem your illusions have been shattered. Clearly, we should hear the accused's explanation. Or should I say, this brilliant scientist's explanation. Just when I found an inconsistency in the prosecution's argument. Scientists. Very well, the defendant will testify again. Provide us with the scientific explanation as to why the inconsistency asserted by the defense fails to hold. In the name of Apollo, I will, my lord. The inconsistency explained, fucking asshole. To be cleared, I'm still at the stage of gathering data in my research. My hypothesis states that the kinesis cannot transport metal though, hence the metal weapon should have stayed put. In other words, the point just phrased by Mr. Naruhodo isn't an inconsistency at all. Mr. Assman was the patron of my research. Without him, my work wouldn't have been possible. Now I have a duty to protect the incredible machine that we built together. Fucking idiot. So, the thrust of your testimony, Professor, is that based upon his hypothesis, metal objects cannot be moved by this method of instantaneous kinesis. In other words, since the screwdriver is made of metal, even if it remained lodged in the victim's chest, its subsequent discovery on the stage despite the victim being found elsewhere is not an inconsistency. And therefore, Professor Albert's harebrain could still have been the killer. My great hypothesis holds, you see. We had to make the cage used to contain the subject from wood for that very reason. I was not addressing you, witness. Professor Harebrain.
Yes?
Whose side are you on here? I don't take sides, Mr. Naruhodo. No. My only interest lies in upholding my hypothesis. I'm a scientist, after all. Is he working for us or against us? It's very hard to tell. Let's see how you cross-examine this testimony, my Nipponese friend. Racism. Yes, fire away, Mr. Naruhodo. To be clear, I'm still yeah, fucking asshole. And yet your retort to my argument wasn't lacking in confidence in any way. No scientist can find the truth without first finding self-belief. Those were the words of a certain scientist I hold in a very high esteem. But you realize that disproving my argument puts you in a very precarious position, don't you? No scientist should strive to protect himself more than he strives to protect the truth. More words of the same great scientist, you know? Words that are causing me a lot of trouble. Who is this scientist? I'm afraid I couldn't tell you, Mr. Naruhodo. But as soon as I remember the magnificent genius's name, you will be able the first to know. It might be worth keeping the names of your idols to mind. You're wasting your breath, my learned friend. This scatterbrain even forgets my name at times. So Lord Van Siegs really did have a friend once. But I didn't notice hell freezing over. Okay. Okay, so the first one was useless. Your hypothesis states it? So this isn't proven then? No, of course not. It's merely a hypothesis, but a good one, based upon thousands of calculations. But it is widely known that metals can be decomposed by electrolysis. Yes, of course, so I am right. My hypothesis is clearly correct. What is it about incriminating himself that makes this man so happy? It's the whole reason that the birdcage is made of wood, you see. Sorry, the birdcage? Yes, that's what I call the C. Obtusa cage, in which Mr. Assman was placed for the kinesis. Kinesis, whatever. Ah, the jail cell in which the victim was detained. It does indeed seem to have been made of a timber of some sort. I'll thank you not to refer to as an instrument of incarceration, your lordship. In short, any weapon launched at the victims when he was beamed away by instantaneous kinesis would have been left behind on the stage if it was made of metal, correct? Yes, that's it. Yes. If all fits perfectly with the mathematical model. But the ultimate conclusion, then, is that the defendant alone had the opportunity to inflict this fatal injury on the victim, is it not? Ah, indeed, sir. Someone beam me out of this nightmare. In other words, the point just raised by Mr. Naruhodo isn't an inconsistency at all. I just need to check if this doesn't say that it's made out of anything else. Yeah, it's completely said. It says that it's completely metal. So I guess this is metal. Mata! You seem to be pleased by that. Yes, another example of my hypothesis holding true. But I sense some sarcasm, Mr. Naruhodo. Are you not pleased? No. I knew it. At the end of the day, I'm the one responsible for Mr. Assman's losing his life. The advancement of science is no excuse, I know that. No, you're quite right. Told the court, did you have a close relationship with Mr. Assman? Oh, well, no, not really. I mean, I only met him 2 or 3 times, and we only ever discussed my hypothesis on the project, and the research grant, of course. Oh my god. Mr. Assman was a patron of my research. Without him, my work wouldn't have been possible. How did you come to know Mr. Assman in the first place? A year ago now, a small provincial science journal published a little paper about my work. That's a scientific journal? Goodness gracious, I should need a new spectacles. I might have had an extraordinary hypothesis and a great promise, but at the time I had no money. I had to eat tiny little meals at a tiny little cafe and drink watered-down water out of a tiny glass. But Mr. Assman read the paper and came to visit me at my tiny little laboratory and offered you money to help fund your work. Exactly. That's exactly what happened. I handled the theoretical side of things, and Mr. Assman provided me with an engineer for the practical. And the 3 of us produced a fantastic machine together. The machine that you brought to the great exhibition to demonstrate. We had to apply to the government for some sort of inspection to be allowed to exhibit, I think. I didn't understand all that side of things. Mr. Assman took care of all of it. He was a wonderful man. Really, I owe him everything. Now I have a duty to protect the incredible machine that we built together. When you say that you built the machine together, does that mean that you were involved in its construction? Yes. Well, not exactly. I'm not good with the practical side of machines myself, so the physical construction was done by an engineer. Little remains of your creation now, though. Following the explosion, repair will no doubt be impossible. Yes, I realize that, but still. If someone were to gather all the broken parts, they could discover the secret of my hypothesis. But Mr. Assman and I toiled it over that machine for so long, we put our hearts and souls into it. I have to protect our work. So what's left of the machine must be kept safe. That's only fair, because what happened was an accident. That's the extent of the testimony, then. Thank goodness for that. I don't want him doing any more damage. He's already basically proven that he could have been the culprit. But it seems as though all he really cares about is defending his hypothesis. Still, I wonder, what if his hypothesis is just fundamentally flawed? Oh! Okay, so my hypothesis states that a kinesis cannot transport metal. So, ahaha! Dumbass! Professor Hairbrain, you say that according to your hypothesis, nothing made of metal can be beamed by instantaneous kinesis using the machine you made. Is that right? Yes, that's right. Spot on, exactly correct. In that case, I'd ask you to have a look at this photograph that was taken at the scene. In particular, I'd like you to pay attention to the victim's face. You can clearly see that Mr. Assman is wearing a pair of spectacles with a metal rim. What? Metal? No. Metal can't. That's not... Metal? No! We have already established that the proposed murder weapon, the screwdriver, was found on the stage. However, if your hypothesis correctly predicted the outcome, it should have also predicted that the metal rimmed spectacles would be found in the same place. Ah, my hypothesis! My hypothesis! Professor Hairbrain, this isn't easy for me to say, but your hypothesis is clearly flawed. Wah! Shake it, bro. Order, order, order. Council, what is the implication of this? If on the day of question the alleged instantaneous kinesis never actually took place, then it's entirely possible that the victim was killed somewhere other than on the stage. And in that case, someone other than the defendant could have been the culprit. But my hypothesis, the hypothesis is sound. I proved it that day. The experiment was a success. The experiment was proof of all my work. If I could say something here, in my capacity as a fellow of the Royal Science Society. Yes, juror number 4, go ahead. As a man of science, there's one thing I simply cannot abide. And that's a fraud who pretends to be a fellow man of science. What? Wait, great Scott, are you suggesting my science is suspect? It's just been disproved, hasn't it? In front of all of us. In other words, the whole demonstration was a complete nonsense from start to finish. Believe me, my fellow jurors, when I tell you that this man is a heel, a bounder, and a fraud. I say the wreckage of that machine should be stripped down and thoroughly examined. No, never! That machine is the essence of my hypothesis. It's protected by the Special Dispensation from Scientific Equipment Act. What the devil is that blasted act all about, eh? Who made up such a daft rule? I don't like the way this seems to be going. What's the best way for me to help the professor? I don't know. Well, I mean, it usually just helps to help your client. Professor Hairbrain has yet to perfect his invention. That would seem to be the case, yes. But even so, what? Going to such trouble and expense to create a fake machine to display in public. He would have absolutely had no reason to do such a thing. He had an obvious reason to do exactly that. For the research grant money. Ah! If the government was foolish enough to have deemed the man's ridiculous notion plausible, he and his conspirators would have received a handsome sum indeed. Conspirators? What would be the value of such a grant? 10 pounds? You're an order of magnitude out, madame. 500 pounds a year. Wow! Could live handsomely on that much for years. The society noticed an increase in bogus public demonstrations in the field of science recently. And plenty of scientists arguing with each other to get the largest slice of the funding cake. People's greed is plenty motive enough for murder, I assure you. No, I haven't deceived anyone. Least of all the government. My hypothesis is sound, the science is sound. Please, you must believe me. No matter how unbelievable this hypothesis may seem to you, ladies and gentlemen, the fact remains that the victim was transported instantly to the Crystal Tower. Which means that the experiment was a success. Ah, Barak! And therefore, the only person who could have possibly committed this murder is the accused. Ah, Barak. Where is this heading? I have no idea. My lord, if I may. Yes, Lord Van Seeks. The prosecution would like to summon new witnesses to the stand. New witnesses? What would be the nature of their involvement? They were spectators of the demonstration at the exhibition, who were occupying special seats. Eyewitnesses? Very well. The court grants the prosecution's request. I should very much like to hear from eyewitnesses to the incident. The prosecution stance is clear. This experiment was no pastiche. The accused killed the financer's victim. What the fuck does it say? The accused killed the financer victim there on the public stage before the very eyes of the spectator. Okay, now, my learned friend. Oh, yes? It's time for you to make your own stance clear. There's clearly a flaw in the professor's hypothesis. I can definitely see that. But where does that leave me? We shall take a short recess now, during which time the prosecution will prepare its new witness to take the stand. As you wish, my lord. Good. In that case, court is adjourned for 20 minutes. Is that the first checkpoint? Yes! Oh my god, okay, I'm going for water. I'm so thirsty. I'm thirsty. Thirsty moment. Okay. I think I'm fine now. I basically drank like half a liter of water because of how thirsty talking that long made me. Mr. Naruhodo, what on earth were you playing at just now? Or rather, what on earth were you playing at all along? My hypothesis, my amazing hypothesis! You've been picking holes in it from the start. Sorry about that. But you promised me. You said you'd prove that dreaded explosion was an accident, not murder. You said you'd keep my precious invention from falling into anyone else's hands. But all you've done so far is trying to undermine mine. Yes, I did make you a promise, you're right. I said that I believe in you and fight for your freedom to the very end. But I also told you I was no scientist. I don't understand your hypothesis. The fact is, there's an undeniable flaw in your logic, isn't there? But if I just run through some equations... Yes, you see, it's because my work is incomplete. Perhaps it is. Nevertheless, a man died as a consequence, didn't he? Oh. Oh no! You're right. You're so right. It's all my fault. And I have no right to blame you for my failures. I'm a disaster, not just as a scientist, but as a human being. Well, that might be a little over the top. And while we're on the subject, what about Varrock? He's being awful. Claiming his old university friend to be a murderer, you mean? He's a disaster, not just as a prosecutor, but as a human being. Oh, but no, wait, he's a Reaper, isn't he? Perhaps he's not classified as a Homo sapiens anymore. Mean asshole. Glad that's cleared up. Can I double check something with you? Ah, yes, what? The machine and demonstration you prepared. They were based entirely on your hypothesis, I presume. There was no trickery involved. I drew the plan for the machine with my very own hands. Every line was painstakingly drawn with the firm belief that science is the only future. So yes, it's true that my hypothesis hasn't reached maturity yet. But please, Mr. Naruhodo, you must believe in it. Alright, Professor, I understand. Counsel, defendant. The prosecution's witnesses are ready to take the stand. Court is about to be in session again. Make your way into the courtroom, please. It all hinges on that demonstration. If the professor's hypothesis is sound as he claims, it leaves him as the only person who could possibly have killed the victim. But on the other hand, Mr. Sholmes was adamant. A practical implementation such as was attempted by the professor at the Great Exhibition is quite impossible. So really, what should I be trying to prove here? In the name of Her Majesty the Queen, I hereby reconvene the proceedings of this court. Counsels for the defense and prosecution, are you ready for the new witnesses to testify? The prosecution is ready, my lord. As is the defense, my lord. So, Lord Van Seeks, I believe these next witnesses saw the demonstration of the day of the question with their own eyes. Indeed, they did. And as luck would have it, one of them is a police detective. So the testimony we are about to hear can be considered highly reliable. Perfect, a detective of all people. The prosecution's stance remains unchanged. Though it ended in a tragedy, the demonstration on that day in question was scientifically sound. And consequently, the sole person with the opportunity to have committed this act of murder is the only other individual to have been present at the stage at the time, the accused. Thank you, counsel. The prosecution's position is clear. So, bring forth your witnesses now. Bailiff, show the witnesses in. The witnesses whose proximity to the incident on the day in question will clarify the truth unequivocally. Hard word. You gotta be fucking kidding. They look like that. Oh, and then her. Okay. Why do they look like that? Witnesses, state your names and occupations for the court to hear. My name is Balthazar Loon. I am the impresario of all the hot air balloons in vicinity of the Experimento stage. My name is Wilhelm Koistrich E. Sigmund Ornstein. I have come to see great exhibition on Svei from my home in Bohemia. I'm very rich. Inspector Gina Lestrade, Scotland Yard. I'm a great detective, even Airlock Sholm agrees. I was on security duty at the exhibition and I got to go up in one of them balloons. It was amazing. Gina, again. But she did mention that she'd seen the disaster from up in a balloon actually, didn't she? And she clearly loved every minute of it. There were 3 balloons flying near the public experimentation stage when the incident occurred. 2 of these witnesses were in one such balloon at the time and saw events unfold from the skies above. You make it sound like they were in the clouds. It was only an altitude of circa 60 feet, very low. Well, you can't see nothing if you fly too high, can ya? 60 feet, about 18 meters? That's fucking British. Then. Thank you for your introductions. Now you will give your formal testimony for the court. Kindly describe exactly what you witnessed, especially those who had a vantage point above the stage. Before I continue, let me look at this. Yeah, Bohemian boy. A young boy. Making sure that he actually didn't have a name. And also confirming pronouns, you know? It was an incidente terribile. I am only grateful that my balloons were not damaged. There is this huge bang from the stage, and then the next second another bang in the sky beside us. And from amidst the smoke, a cage appeared out of nowhere. The cage, it fell from the sky like a stone and crashed into the crystal tower. I didn't get a good look inside the cage, but no one went near it after it crashed into the tower. Oh my god, why did they all have different accents? Ace Attorney, I fucking hate you. God damn it. A most extraordinary collective account, I must say. Could I just clarify something? There's a detail in the witness's testimony that I've not heard any mention of until now. Specifically, that there were 2 explosions? More precisely, 2 explosions in 2 separate places, yes. When the demonstration began, the balloon carrying the 2 witnesses was around. Here. There were other balloons in the air nearby at the time, carrying other passengers as well, to be clear. Then, as power was supplied to the machine for the demonstration, the first explosion occurred. The so-called birdcage that contained the victim disappeared from the stage, and a moment later, the second explosion occurred directly adjacent to the balloon carrying the witnesses. The birdcage appeared at the site of the explosion, subsequently to plummet down to the crystal tower. I was very surprised. Suddenly a cage appeared before my eyes with a person inside. Sea Blast was so hot, but I didn't want to miss a scene, so I kept my eyes wide. Why did you make this character? Why? Also, in here it says that his name Gots. He's Gota. Another balloon. I'm alike. I still have lots of money. Precisely who is this curious infant? I'm told he's a young noble of Bohemian royalty. Apparently, he disguised himself in order to steal unnoticed into the great exhibition. Ja, I am here in London on a sightseeing trip with my elementary school. You're 11 years old? Okay, whatever. We will have the benefit of a child's point of view in the testimony. Do we really need that? When I remove my mask, this is what I look like. Ah yes, I see, a delightful face, I'm sure. Yeah, everyone says so. Great disguise then. The point is, the testimony of these witnesses further substantiates the facts for the court. Namely that despite ending in an explosion, instantaneous kinesis was successfully demonstrated. And furthermore, that until the arrival of the police, no one approached the crystal tower where the victim fell. Therefore, only the accused, who was with Mr. Assman on the stage, could possibly have committed the murder. Yes, thank you, counsel. The prosecution views on the matter are quite clear. So, the defense cross-examination now, please. Yes, my lord. What the fuck is happening? I'm just glad I don't have to read the same lines again, but too bad there's gonna be more. There were 3 balloons flying above the experimentation stage at the time, I understand. CC. Wait, you're Spanish? No, wait, no. CC is, I think, is also used in Italy. So yeah, 100% Italian, right? This guy has to be Italian. He can't just be like, oh, French, Spanish, fucking... All three of them, my bellissimi bambini. Yeah, Italian. They are very popular, senor. Some people will pay £10 for one ride. £10? That's more than my annual stipend. £20 a month. That is my pocket money. Royals have all the luck. I got up there for free, I did. Played the old I work for Her Majesty police card, you know? Detectives have all the luck. If they're so popular, why would you only be operating such a small number of balloons, though? Because if I have too many in the skies, they could crash into each other. The operators for the balloons were decided by lots, with each operator manning a particular area. See, and the zone above public experimentation stage is the most profitable. The other impresarios, they hate me. Man, hate this guy. Doctors hate him. Thank you, witness. I think the court has a clear picture of the arrangement for balloon ride at the exhibition. Perhaps we could hear more about what you actually witnessed of the incident? Right, I can feel you in there, my lord. I'm so bad at speaking. There's this huge bang. Yeah, okay. So you actually saw the accident happen from up in the air? Yup, ain't it amazing what a detective gets to do, eh? I'm telling ya, although being a lawyer's a mug game. Oh, I'm telling ya, Otto, being a lawyer... because it's Naruhodo, so Hodo. Being a lawyer's a mug's game. You should join the force and we can go flying together. I don't know how to read in British. You know me so well. Yes, well, anyway. Well, it's Scottish, but I don't know how to speak Scottish either. Could you tell us exactly what you saw, you think? Everything. We saw everything, because we are above it all. That dodgy cub climbing into that cage, and that dodgy professor pulling on the levers. And that's when it happened. That's when there was this massive bang and the cage appeared, just like that. You are describing the moment the subject's body was decomposed by electricity, I believe. I didn't know what to make of it, but there was this another bang right in the ear. I looked around and there was this huge great fireball like this to us in the sky, and there was nothing there before. I hate speaking in Scottish. I prefer talking as a little German kid, please. Master Gods, does your memory of the day differ? So, my teacher at elementary school said that when you meet someone from the first time, you should always use their full name. Ah, yes, what was it again? Wilhelm Gostreich Gisimond Ormstein. Just the four names, then. The point is, do you have something to say? Something to add in response to Detective Gina Lestrade's last remark, please. Oi, get it right, Odo. It's Inspector Lestrade. Why does everyone have a problem with how I address them at the moment? That is not what I saw. Oh? Ja. There was a second explosion and it was right beside our balloon. That is true. But I'm sure. Which is what I said, ain't it? 1 minute there was nothing there, the next a massive explosion. My teacher at elementary school said that when someone else is speaking, if you are rude enough to interrupt, you will have the most awful life imaginable. Are all Bohemians brought up to be so full of joy? Another balloon. We know it's French, I'm racist. Just before the second explosion happened next to our balloon, I clearly witnessed a green balloon flying in the sky. A green balloon? Eh? You what? I never saw nothing like that. Yeah, well, I did. I saw it, and you can't say I didn't. I will complain to the council. I will cry and scream. My testimony is the truth. I am a Bohemian prince. You cannot say it's a lie. That is not allowed. Playing the bleeding royalty card, are ya? Typical. Says the orphan who likes to remind people she works for Her Majesty's police. Oh my god, I'm gonna drink water. God damn it, I thought, oh, it's not gonna be that hard. Fuck. In interests of cordial national relations between Great Britain and Bohemia. It was not the sky that exploded, it was a green balloon that was next to ours at the time. Oh, I can prove this actually. Now, I do want to see all the text, but I also want to play cool, so I'm gonna play cool, because I like playing cool. What? Wait, I'm stupid. I'm stupid. Maybe there's more text, and I just have to prove to Gina that it did happen, because this is not a contradiction. I wanted to like say this did happen because I believe the kid. Whatever. A green balloon, you say? Are you sure about that? Of course I am sure. I am a proud Bohemian prince. All these questions are making me boring. I think you mean bored. Ah, English is very annoying. The language of my countrymen is far superior. Ragazzo, it is very wrong to lie. Lie? Flying balloons never explode. For the same reason the planets never explode. It is logical. Please tell me that doesn't mean logical. If you insult me, you insult all of Bohemia. Madai. I will have the army come and shoot all of your stupid balloons out of the sky, all of them. Here you are, Your Highness. If only all international incidents were so easily resolved. Now that peaceful relations have been restored here in the courtroom, perhaps we could return to the testimony. Did you also see the moment that the cage materialized, Mr. Loon? No, I did not see the explosion myself. However, the cage, it fell from the sky like a stone. Oh my god, like legitimately, this is not Punch-Out. Why is there so many fucking stereotypes? Whatever. Did you see that happen? No, in reality I did not. I saw it after it hit the tower. There was a grande confusion around the stage. I ran to see what had happened. I was terrorized by the idea that one of my balloons had crashed. I suppose they are his livelihood. But when I looked up to the sky, all my precious balloons were still there. I saw it though. I saw it slam into the tower. After all, I am a detective now. Then tell us what you saw, Inspector Lestrade. That's what I like to hear. Was it you who gave the order to keep people away? Eh? Use your head, Otto. How could it have been me? I was up in a balloon, weren't I? Right. So cause I weren't available, it was the boss who had to leg it over there. He was getting shoved and kicked all over by the panicking spectators as he tried to seal off the scene. It was a real sight to behold, I can tell ya. Amazing. Poor Inspector Gregson. So anyway, I couldn't see the cage that well cause of all the smoke. And I didn't really want to see, to be honest. I was scared out of me wits. Keep it together, Inspector. By fucking god. The prosecution really is asserting that the demonstration was genuine. But what if it was actually some kind of switch around trick instead? That would mean that the victim was never actually on the stage in the first place. The two explosions would have thrown everyone from watching into a panic for sure. I think I need to find out more about it, what exactly people saw at the time. Pam 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 pam, le pica el equivocador. Lo bueno es que el botón de saltar, 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 thank God, 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 thank God. On what appears to deflate the cage, that's what? And that description sounds like the moment after the man was beamed instantaneously through space. It's mind-blowing, isn't it? But that was the 20th century for you, I reckon. So the people who actually saw the demonstration with their own eyes really believed they saw something miraculous taking place. I know that it did happen. How can I tell them? Maybe I just needed to examine everything and now I can present it. This is gonna be a hard one, I think. I'm gonna be stuck here for a while. Because I tried this, but it didn't work. Damn it. Maybe if I... No, but I did do that. And then I did do this one. I have pressed everything you can press. Okay, let's read then. I don't lose anything reading this. Well, that was it. So definitely nothing there. This group here must be where the arrows are loaded, I suppose. If I had one of these, I would have won the competition. Yeah, don't say. Okay, definitely not the crossbow. I have no clue how to explain this. This is hard. Because, like, I understand what's happening. It's true what the little kid is saying. Okay, I think that's just a thing of, like... Let me make sure that I have disabled skipping test that I haven't seen. Okay, yeah. Enable or disable skipping. See, escapades text is skippable from the start now. Yeah, I think it's just a thing of like reading everything again. I don't have another option, sadly. Okay, I think I'm gonna try the same evidence on the 4th. Because I do not have new evidence, so it has to be something like this. Nope. Fuck. I don't want to look up a guide, so like if I have to use every piece of evidence on every single piece of like dialogue, so be it. Okay, either that, like, I think I presented it in the ones that matter. Because literally, I presented it to 4 of the 5 statements. Oh! I am only grateful that my balloons were not damaged. It's here. Fuck off! Mr. Loon, in your testimony, you said that all 3 of the balloons you had operating at the time were undamaged. See, that is correct. I have forgotten every single one of these fucking guys' fucking accents. If I had been caught in the explosiones, it would have been terrible. I wonder if you might know what this is. Ah, I think it may be... See, part of a balloon. A burnt piece of the fabric of the envelope. Sorry, the envelope? Pardon. That is a large round part of the balloon, which becomes filled with hot air. It is made from very thick fabric lined with rubber. You do not want to rip it when you are in the sky. Just as I thought. This piece of cloth was found near the experimentation stage. In other words, as Master Gotts testified, a green balloon did indeed explode that day. Eh? If all of the balloons in the sky above the experimentation stage belong to you, Mr. Loon, then your statement in that they were all damaged clearly contradicts the evidence. No! If a balloon exploded that day, why didn't the man say so? Maybe everyone on board was killed. Oh no, having just spent 10 whole pounds for the experience, how awful! Seems to me like those things can crash 50% of the time anyway. The instantaneous kinesis did occur, but after the explosion on the stage, the point of materialization shifted to a location occupied by a balloon. Causing the balloon to explode? Yes, eminently plausible. An unfortunate traffic accident, as it were. But it changes nothing about the pertinent facts. So what he's saying is that they got fucking telefragged. That's funny. This I cannot accept. Why not, Mr. Loon? You are suggesting that I am a liar. That person's died in a balloon. That person's died in a balloon incident. There's no need to get fired up, Mr. Loon. The victim was the sole fatality. That's right, and I prove it. Balthazar Loon is not a liar. There was no such balloon in the sky. It is non-possible. You're saying it's impossible? Why? This court has more important matters to discuss than the number of balloons that were operating that day. But we can't ignore the fact that nobody appears to have known anything about this other balloon until now. My lord, the defense calls for further testimony from Mr. Loon. I concur. There is clearly more to the truth here than meets the eye. It's imperative that we clear up the issue of this phantom balloon, I feel. Witness, you will give supplementary testimony about the balloons you were operating at the exhibition. Ah, grazie, my lord. Balloons. Mr. Loon's balloons. As I said, Balthazar Loon is no liar. Every balloon I had in the sky landed safely. All 3 of my balloons were carrying passengers. If they fell to the ground in an explosion, what a catastrophe. But you can't get away from the fact that a burnt up bit of cloth was found at the scene, can ya? The couples at the yacht reckoned it was probably some debris thrown from the explosion on stage. This stupid ragazzo is mistaken. My balloons have the red and blue zigzag stripes anyway. So your assertion is that the balloon this child saw was not one belonging to you. Sí, exactamente. If you even saw a balloon in the first place. I do not like the sound of it. It is very bad for business. I have a good mind to sue the land of Bohemia. If you attack us, we will fight back. It will be war. All out war. War. What happened to all out war? Mr. Loon certainly doesn't appear to be lying, but that doesn't change the fact that the testimony and evidence are contradictory here. If the defense is unable to find fault with the witness's statement, the court must consider them the truth. Think long and hard on that, my learned friend. The situation has clearly changed now. I have to get to the bottom of what happened here, no matter what it takes. I don't know why, but okay. Counsel, you may now cross-examine the witnesses. This is weird. Why does this matter? Three. I think I have to press, which just sucks. Okay, I'm just gonna press everything. Ugh. You coulda just have forgotten one, maybe. Senor. I might not notice if I was given 100 lentils and one was missing. But we are talking about 3 enormous balloons! Do you really believe I could make a mistake about something so grand and expensive? I took the liberty of having Inspector Gregson check this gentleman's warehouse. I have the report here. It clearly says a total of 3 balloons. It would appear no mistake has been made then. Surely Miss Lestrade could have been sent for such a menial task. What? Me? I'll tell you what I told the boss. East End kids like me can only count up to 2. Obviously that ain't true, but the boss bought it and said it had to go in himself in that case. All 3 of my balloons were carrying passengers. If they fell to the ground in an explosion, it was a catastrophe. It would be quite a catastrophe if they fell to the ground for any reason, I think. On that note, Mr. Loon, tell me, what is that keeps these balloons in the sky? Are you an idiota? Sorry? That is like asking, why does a candle burn bright? It burns bright because it burns bright, and a balloon flies because it flies. What else? That must be Italian for I don't know. Okay, so it is done. There are 2 types of flying balloons, hot air balloons and gas balloons. Hot air balloons work on the principle of hot air being less dense than cold air, whereas gas balloons derive their lift by using a gas that is lighter than air. See, and my balloons are filled with the magic gas, I believe. Hydrogen, lighter than air but highly explosive. Good lord! I do not permit smoking of the cigarettes in any of my balloons. The magic gas does not like fire. Even a small spark of static electricity could cause the entire balloon to explode. What is the matter with you, senor? All it comes out of your mind is explosion. I tell you, my balloons are perfectly safe. They have to be, or I cannot eat. None of my balloons exploded that day, I am completely sure. But if you still say that this is what it happened, you must show me the proof. Alright. So Mr. Loon had 3 balloons in the air that day. If none of them were damaged, then what was the one that exploded? Thank you for looking at me like that. He looks at gay people, I think. I was surprised to find the piece of fabric still at the scene, actually. Didn't you search the area surrounding the stage for clues? Nah, I'm not into picking stuff up the ground, me. I always works out way better, diving into people's pockets instead. So much for the new career path. Mind you, the boss was on his hands and knees picking up all kinds of rubbish from the floor. Thing is though, the cage went crashing into the crystal tower, didn't it? So that's where most of the investigating was going on. Even so, I would have thought someone from Scotland Yard would have gathered it up as evidence. Core, listen up, you. You stumble across a bit of balloon and suddenly you're the best investigator in the world. Pardon? Well, you ain't got a badge, have ya? Like this one. I could arrest ya with this if I wanted to. I wouldn't put it past her. Come to think of it, there was talk of some scorching on the ground in a meeting we had about the investigation. The coppers at the yard reckoned it was probably some debris run from the explosion on stage. I'm trying to remember how I did. Whatever. There was considerable damage to the stage and surrounding area, wasn't there? Yeah, some of coves were watching the some of the coves what were watching the experiment were caught in the blast and injured. Good job the old contraption didn't keel over, eh? I hadn't even considered that. It seems there was great panic after the incident occurred. Nevertheless, the police shouldn't have missed a torn piece of the envelope from the balloon. Inspector Gregson can expect repercussions. Like me swiping all of his fish and chips, eh? The man's sole pleasure. None of this matters. That scrap of balloon envelope means nothing. Niente. This stupido ragazzo is mistaken. My balloons have the red and blue zigzag stripes anyway. You mean the color is wrong? Si, senor. I do not have any green balloons in my warehouse. And yet a piece of green cloth was found at the scene, and it's mistakenly from a balloon. Well, I don't know how that can be. For the sake of argument, let's say that a green balloon did explode above the stage. You couldn't therefore conclude that it happened on the day in question. Why not? There have been recreational balloon flights over Hyde Park operating from before the Great Exhibition. One could have exploded on some earlier date. Unfortunate, as I'm sure you'd agree. You believe it may have been for some earlier balloon accident that predates the exhibition? Sí, exactamente. As the senor says, it is not from one of my balloons. This can be easily checked. Oh, no way. Wait, but I already read this. Why is this like a new dialogue? Assholes. Ah, because I didn't save last time. Fuck. Clearly, this little ragazzo from Bohemia is mistaken about what he saw. Is something wrong, Master Gott? It's Master Wilhelm Gottfried Sigmund Ormstein. It was on the tip of my tongue. Yeah, something is very wrong. I know what I saw. See, it was a green balloon there. I swear it. I swear it all over Bohemia. You can speak as much bad language as you like, but it changes nothing. If you don't have evidence, Ragazzo, then I must tell your parents to punish you, eh? Perhaps we'll let the judge decide when it comes to punishments. Evidence? What is this evidence? To give a simple explanation, young man. A photograph, for instance, some tangible proof of what you claim. Well, why didn't you say so sooner? I have the photograph right here. Good gracious, what? I had not been up in a balloon for a while, so I was very excited. I took lots and lots of photographs of the Crystal Tower, of the Bohemian exhibit, of the streets of London, of the hotel cellar, the balloon. And the instantaneous kinetics experiment. Did you take pictures of that? Yeah, one picture. Really? You did take one? But all I wanted was a ride in a balloon. I was not interested in boring experiments. Never mind that. Can you show us that photograph? Of course, and soon you will see. You will see that I am not lying. That I really see a green balloon. It's in black and white. Well, I see you are all too shocked to speak. Yes, I think shocked is indeed the word, young man. Yeah, perhaps you cannot see that this was a green balloon from this photograph, but that is not my fault. That is the fault of the stupid person who made the camera. No, little German boy, don't go into the flame. Oh my god, this game is full of blood smoking. Wah, wah. That is one very bohemian sounding cry. Wah, wah. Very well, the court will accept this photograph as evidence. A photograph taken by Goswell. He was riding his balloon. It shows another balloon that he claimed was green and exploded moments after he took his shot. It's not my fault. It's the fault of the person who made the camera. Well, never mind. I'm sure you have plenty of wonderful sepia memories to take home with you. In any case, when exactly did you take that photograph? Well, it was on the day of the big explosion. You don't say. When I pressed the shutter release, there was this very loud bang, and a hot wind rushed over my face. That means this photograph was taken a split second before the explosion occurred. Well, if you ask me, this black and white photograph changes nothing. I could not give the fly... I thought it was a swear word. Lovely language you picked up. As I thought, Mr. Loon's testimony just doesn't quite add up. The young bohemian boy claims to have seen another fourth balloon. But Mr. Loon vehemently denies the possibility, and it's hard to imagine the man in charge could be mistaken about the numbers that were in the air. Still, this inconsistency must tell us something, I'm sure. Okay, but now... Okay, I think this one. Because he talked about it, about gas and fucking hot air. So maybe here... Yeah, because like God said, the little kid said that a wave of hot air fucking brushed over him. That's a really cool picture, by the way. And this is the first time I think the magnifying glass is actually useful for anything. Because look at this little kid, right? That's the shape of a little kid. Now enhance. Oops. And what the fuck is the it's this one. Enhance. Enhance. I don't know how this can help me. I have no clue. Oh, I think I get what happened. It's a fucking smoke bomb. And then they shot this one, dropping the body somehow. Meaning that this guy is like a body double. Maybe specifically he's like the engineer. But this dumbass didn't know. Well, how would I prove that anyway? Let me just finish reading all of this. It's Prince Wilhelm Godreich Sigmund Ornstein. Your royal blood would not help you here, ragazzo. See, it is a balloon, but there is nothing more you can see from this black and white photograph. Just look on my head. That is a Balthasar Loon balloon, the best in the business. Let's try not to get overinflated. The point is this. Here we have a clear photographic proof that in the sky above the experimentation stage, there may very well have been a balloon operated by someone other than you, Mr. Loon. Who was it? I want to know who was this mongrel with no respect for boundaries. I have no clue. So maybe just press everything again. Maybe this is an Ace Attorney 2 moment. He said on the press to show him evidence, so maybe it's just presented here. That would be stupid, so I think it's not correct. God fucking damn it. Whatever, at least it didn't take me long. Unfortunately, the photograph Master Gots took can't tell us the color of the balloon, but it can tell us something else, something crucially important. What? It shows that the pictured balloon wasn't carrying any passengers. Oh, my goodness, you're right. But surely all the balloons would have been carrying passengers. There would be no sense in it otherwise. See, they are for pleasure, for seeing the view. My balloons only fly with passengers. Which tells us that the picture balloon isn't one of them. So where the incident occurred that day, there was a fourth balloon in the skies above the experimentation stage. The mysterious green balloon. I know nothing, niente. I can only tell you one thing. If this balloon was not carrying passengers, then it was not one of mine. There are illegal tradesmen everywhere you care to look. Clearly one such entrepreneur decided to capitalize on the opportunity presented by the Great Exhibition, and managed to operate balloon flights on Mr. Loon's patch without him realizing. See, the competizione tried to steal my profits. I did not notice because of the experimento that went wrong on the stage. This fourth balloon exploded at the very same moment Mr. Asman was beamed from the stage below. Right. So them scraps that fell off the ground after and left them scorch marks. They didn't come from the stage at all. It was bits of the balloon raining down. But cause no one was in it, it didn't get no attention. A mysterious fourth balloon carrying no passengers, silently floating over the experimentation. This photograph shows us nothing more. A stray balloon carrying no one and operated by some rogue trader. Clearly it has nothing to do with the case. Its relevance does elude me, I must say. The court has seen sufficient evidence and heard ample testimony already. The prosecution calls for this trial to be concluded. Really? Have we really got to the truth yet? No, I can't let this opportunity slip away. The jurors' minds are made up, and I'm not in our favor. What else can this photograph tell us? Is there nothing one can learn from it? There's more! Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, wait. Please don't give your decisions yet. The photograph from Master Gotts may very well be hiding one more vital clue. What's that? A vital clue? We're well past the point of mere possibilities. It is time for definitives now, so tell the court. What exactly does this alleged clue in the photograph prove? The cause of the explosion? We can reasonably assume that the pictured balloon was destroyed in the searing heat of the explosion.
Ja, that's right, Ja. It was not my fault.
Evidently, because the birdcage from the kinesis machine materialized in the sky where it had been flying. And the balloon, being filled with flammable hydrogen, instantly and explosively ignited. No, that's not what happened.
What?
It would appear that this photograph requires closer examination. Counsel for the defense, you will highlight the location of this alleged clue in the photograph for the court. Of course, my lord. If you look closely, it's plain enough to see. And what's shown is linked to another piece of evidence we have, in a way that leads to an unbelievable conclusion. It's not unbelievable. Genuinely. The timing on this photograph can only be described as miraculous. If you look, you'll notice there's a bright white line that appears to point directly at the balloon. Most likely a ray of light caused incidentally on the film. I'm afraid I can see nothing of the sort. If you look with a magnifying glass, my lord, it becomes clear what the nature of this bright line really is. Goodness, what is that? Undeniably some flash of light, yes.
Oh golly. Do you think it might be lightning?
But it couldn't have been a finer day. I believe we may be looking at fire. A bolt of fire heading straight for the balloon. Like an arrow. Indeed, even to my aging eyes, it would appear to be a flame of some sort. My word, are you suggesting this flame struck the hydrogen gas that filled the balloon? That's absurd. The balloon would have been 60 feet above the ground at the time. No flame could possibly have reached such a height. Actually, it's my opinion that a particular piece of evidence found at the scene reveals how that is exactly what did happen. What evidence? If such evidence exists, counsel, then it's for goodness sakes presented, man. Which evidence explains this mysterious streak of flame that appears to be headed directly for the balloon? The crossbow. This was found hidden at the foot of a small ornamental tree near the scene. Good lord, is that a crossbow? An arrow dipped in oil and set alight could have been shot from this weapon, sending a flaming arrow straight into the hydrogen-filled balloon. Are you suggesting that crossbow was used to deliberately? Blimey, you're right. That streak of lightning in the photo looks just like an arrow, doesn't it? Then, the explosion of the balloon, it was very likely the result of a flaming arrow from this crossbow, igniting the hydrogen gas inside it. No! Order! Order! Counsel, this is an extraordinary supposition. If the aim was to cause the balloon to explode, the shooter could have used a gun, of course. However, there's an obvious reason why that would have been out of the question. The noise of the discharge, of course. That's right. By using a crossbow, the projectile could be fired at the balloon silently. Well, yeah, if someone had shot a gun up in the exhibition grounds, it would have caused a real panic. But with the big explosion, there was a big panic anyway, no? I don't like this. I should be pleased to have found a plausible new explanation for all this, but something feels wrong. Do you understand the implications of what you're saying, my Nipponese friend? If a flaming arrow did indeed hit the balloon, then obviously it would have exploded. And if the birdcage appeared from the cloud of smoke that ensued... What? Wait a minute! What you are really saying here? I don't get it. Was the birdcage beamed up in the sky after all? Or what? My goodness me. Ah, now I understand. That's what that sinking feeling is about. I think there's a good chance that the birdcage was actually concealed inside the balloon all along. What? Did I just hear that correctly, Counsel? There's no going back now. The horse has bolted. Let's assume, as I said, that the birdcage was hidden inside the green balloon from the start. On stage, when the experiment was started, the birdcage in that instantaneous kinesis machine disappeared in a cloud of smoke. At that moment, the flaming arrow was fired from the ground, causing the green balloon to explode and drawing the attention of the spectators to the sky above their heads. From amid the smoke, the hidden birdcage then appeared to fall down and crash into the crystal tower. I think you'll all agree it's entirely plausible that what I've just described is the real truth behind the miraculous experiment carried out that day. Good grief! This is ludicrous. What you've described is no science experiment. It's child's play, a countable display of stage magic. Both Mr. Scholz and Arendt said that the experiment was a scientific impossibility, in which case this is the only way to explain what happened that day. And in any case, the victim's body wasn't found inside that birdcage in the crystal tower. If the instantaneous kinesis didn't take place, how do you explain that? If I may put in a word, as a man of magic myself, such apparent discrepancies can easily be explained by some simple deception. Juror number 3! All that would be needed is a doppelganger, someone who looked very similar to the victim, Mr. Asman, and having this other man appear on stage to front the show as a body double. Yes, of course. So in fact, Mr. Asman must have been inside the birdcage that was concealed inside the balloon right from the start. That balloon would have been filled with hydrogen. Anything hidden inside it would have been scattered to the four winds when it exploded. No one would have ever embarked on such a risky venture. Not necessarily. The explosive force of the balloon gas would very much depend upon the mixture ratio. Juror number 4. Flying balloons are rarely filled with pure hydrogen, but a mixture of other gases such as helium as well. Helium on its own doesn't explode, but by controlling the gas mixture ratio, the explosive force can be altered. The mixture ratio? Obviously, the victim's body would have suffered some burns. That would be unavoidable, but not to such an extent as to render this whole obscene charade impossible. So everything that happened can be explained, logically and scientifically. The explosion that engulfed the stage at the start of the experiment was no accident. It was all part of an elaborate deception to make it appear that instantaneous kinesis had occurred. Well, goodness me. And if we accept that this is what happened, it means that the victim, Mr. Asman, was never present on the public experimentation stage to begin with. In short, he couldn't have been killed by the defendant, who was on stage in full view the entire time. This will be very hard for the prosecution to counter. Lord Van Zieks can't credibly maintain that Professor Harebrained is a suspect now. Why? Mr. Naruhodo, I appreciate your efforts, thank you. Professor? But you can stop now. Just keep your mouth shut, please. Sorry? What's all this about, Mr. Harebrained? I, Albert Harebrained, hereby confess that it was me who stabbed Mr. Odious Man. Odious Man. Yes, it was me, with my faithful friend and partner, Andrew the Screwdriver. What? What are you doing? Order, order, order! Defendant, explain this sudden confession. Professor Harebrained, what are you talking about? It's what I've said all along. I must protect my hypothesis and my precious machine. You stand there and claim it was all a trick, all an elaborate prank, but where's your proof? No, you'd have to examine the machine if you wanted to prove it, but then it would be all over. My useless hypothesis would be laid bare. I mean, the indignity of it. It's clear that you drew the plan for the experiment, but you didn't actually build it. It's quite conceivable that you were duped, Professor. If you'll just let me, I can prove— Barak! Yes. I'll cooperate. I'll do whatever you say. I swear it. So please. ensure the special dispensation for specific scientific equipment that is adhered to and protect my creation. Pray forgive the discourtesy of filling my hallowed chalice at this critical juncture. Here's to my learned Nipponese friend. What? And his upcoming attempt to clarify the defense's position in the light of the accused's confession. Do you intend to formally assert that the experiment was nothing more than a conjuring trick? Because the moment you do, the special dispensation for its Scientific Equipment Act that protects the professor's invention will cease to apply. And the prosecution will then demand a rigorous examination of the machinery involved in order to establish the truth. However, if you acknowledge that the machine is genuine and instrumental in the victim's murder, any chance of investigating will be crushed, and the confidentiality of the professor's hypothesis preserved. Well, counsel, what is the defense's official position on this matter? What Professor Harebrain, my client, actually asked of me was to prove that the explosion on stage was an accident and protect the secrecy of his hypothesis. But there's no way to do that without implying the professor's guilt. Do I protect my client's life by asserting his innocence, or do I uphold my client's request, but see him condemned? Either way, I can't avoid betraying his trust. You've been silent long enough. Isn't talking your trade, my learned friend? Or has all knowledge of English escaped your confused Nipponese mind? Mr. Naruhodo! There's no escape here. I have to make a choice. But it's an impossible one. I have to give up on something. But what? I'm gonna go with conjuring trick. Because, like... this both applies to my job as a defense attorney, and also the whole core message of this attorney that we shouldn't be trying to, like, just hide the truth for the sake of, like, selfish reasons. We should just be finding the truth. And if the client was saying the truth, then all good. If they weren't, too bad. I'm sorry, bro, but I don't believe you. You're an asshole? I don't believe you. No, I can't say it. My client's placed his faith in me. I can't just let him down. Asshole, Phoenix. Well, now, hold on. What must I give up on? It's not the question you have to ask yourself here. It's what can I protect? What the fuck are you doing here? Hello again, Mr. Naruhodo. It's been far too long. Susan! But what are you? Hiya! Ah! My first successful takedown in 6 months. There'll be time to talk later, Mr. Naruhodo. For now, we must concentrate on the task at hand, which is working out not what I have to give up on, but what I can protect. Professor Harebrain. Oh, yes? Yesterday you told me that science is the pursuit of truth. Well, my job is to pursue the truth too. Yes, of course. And personally, I believe that you didn't stab Mr. Assman. I think you've come to realize something yourself too, haven't you? That your experiment and the machine you built with the victim are questionable. The truth behind it is what we must both pursue now. Wag! Asshole. You know how many bottles you have thrown? So, you finally opened your eyes. What? And as for you, Albert, you can't ignore this any longer. Having heard my learned friend's assertion, don't you have something to say? Barak. Lord Benzeeks. Gosh, I'd never heard him speak that way before. In truth, there is one thing, something I remember that's of relevance. What? On the day it happened, just before I began the experiment, I saw a man near the stage. A man holding that crossbow. I beg your pardon? Professor, did the man have any distinguishing features? What did he look like? Taller than me, and thinner than me, with straight hair, straighter and whiter than mine. Let me see. One less lens than me too, a monocle, a rather stylish black monocle. But one thing in particular will help to positively identify the man. You see, I know him very well. After all, he's the engineer who built my invention. Wow, he's throwing the engineer already under the bus. I wonder if he just looks like this. What? He built the machine? That's right, Mr. Ashman introduced me to him days ago. A year ago. He's the man by the name of Enoch Drebber. Enoch Drebber? Does this name mean something? Members of the jury seem flustered. Not a name any scientist wishes to hear. The man's an abomination. Not a name any conjurer wishes to hear either. Who on earth is he? I'm afraid this isn't the first tale of his nature that I've heard in scientific circles in connection with that name. There's talk of other flamboyant experiments that turn out to be nothing but stage trickery in the end. Obviously, the rascal is after the government's research grant money. When magicians are in need of money, I have heard of them resorting to these underhand tactics. Some acquaintances of mine with experience of such things have mentioned Enoch Drebber's name before. The man is both an engineer and a magician. Yes, we're dealing with an unparalleled confidence trickster here. That's Enoch Drebber for you. I think that's gonna be it for day one. So it's true then. My invention, my great machine, it was just a grand illusion. Considering what we just heard about Mr. Drebber's character, I'm sorry to say that sounds increasingly likely. Even though no one else believed it, I wanted to. I wanted to believe that machine would function exactly as my hypothesis predicted. Which is why you were so opposed to it being investigated, I presume. I knew that if the machine was examined in detail, its construction would give away my hypothesis. Obviously, I didn't want that to happen, but at the same time, I knew that if it was found to be nothing more than a trick, than a work of deception, then everything I'd worked towards, all my research, all my dreams, my whole life would be over. I was terrified at the prospect. So you really had no idea then, did you? About the true nature of the machine that was built, and the true nature of Mr. Drebber. I never questioned anything. I didn't want to question it. It's entirely possible that Mr. Hasman and Mr. Drebber were working together to use you as a means of fraudulently acquire the research grant money. When I announced my invention to the crowds that day, it was the finest moment of my career. I pulled all the levers and turned all the dials in exactly the way Drebber had described. When the smoke suddenly started billowing out, I panicked. I didn't know what was happening. But I really don't know how the whole illusion was made to work. I don't know anything anymore. Let me confirm one final point with you, Professor. Do you now consent to the prosecution submitting the necessary paperwork to release your invention from the protection afforded by the Special Dispensation for Scientific Equipment Act? Yes, please, go ahead. I'm very sorry. That's pretty sad. And that's just day one. It would appear that we shall have to suspend proceedings for the remainder of the day now. Lord Van Seeks. My lord. The court has newly been made aware of another party whose involvement in this matter is critical. Yes, Mr. Trevor. Gather information about the man. If possible, I should like him served with a subpoena. Subpoena? I don't remember. With pleasure, my lord. Now, counsel for the defense? Yes, my lord. When we reconvene, I shall be looking for one thing, and one thing alone from you. Evidence that the defendant is innocent of the crime for which he presently stands accused. I understand. Good. In that case, this court is adjourned until tomorrow morning. That was fun! Man, I forget that this is a good game. I just stopped playing it because I'm stupid, but this is a good Ace Attorney game. Mr. Naruhodo. Ah, yes? I'm so sorry. I was wrong. You were right. I tricked you. You trusted me. I dragged you into my mess. Oh, how did it ever come to this? I'm so sorry. Did you really have no idea, Professor, about what Mr. Trevor was really up to, I mean? About what he was really constructing? Naturally. That machine was the embodiment of my hypothesis, of all my hopes and dreams. I had complete faith in it. Alright, in that case, I won't say anymore. Now, sadly, the murder accusation against you still stands, so we must do as much investigation as we can before the trial resumes tomorrow. Well, thank you for doing so much for me. What are you doing here? I'm so sorry for arriving late this morning, Mr. Naruhodo. Arriving late? Didn't you receive my postcard? I wanted to let you know that when I arrived... Postcard? What postcard? I hid it from you, Runo, so it would be a surprise. Well, did it work? I was surprised, alright, especially when she threw me to the ground. Oh dear, I'm so sorry. I was just so happy to see you again that it sort of slipped out. Maybe we could stick to more traditional displays of emotion in future. Susie's train was late into London's Victoria this morning, you see? But we made it the coachman really whipped the horses hard so she didn't miss the whole trial. I was watching from the gallery for a while, but in the end, I'm afraid I couldn't contain myself. Well, I'm glad you didn't. Oh, having you at my side in court gives me the strength I need to win. So, I'm delighted to see you, back in London. Oh, you're too kind, Mr. Naruhodo. I'm delighted to be here. I hope I can continue to be of service to you. Of course. So, what's brought you back? Did Professor Mikotoba not protest? Let's save all that conversation for when we're back at home, shall we? You know, I've made one of my most special blends ever for this special occasion. Oh, Iris, how wonderful. I can't wait. Susato-san was back in London. It's hard to describe how happy that made me feel at the time. But despite my elation, our tale was about to take yet another extraordinary turn. To be continued? Yeah. Alright, I know nobody's watching except for maybe a bot or maybe a buddy. I'm not sure because they haven't said anything. However, I'm stopping for today. I think I'm gonna do one section every day unless it's a short one. Because normally attorney sections can be pretty long. So I don't want to go for too long, so I prefer to stop right here. I know nobody is here, but anyways, thank you for watching, for those who stayed a little bit. And also thank you for the bot. My Twitch analytics really like it when it says that I have a medium of 1 spectator for stream. Well, bye bye.